Everybody knows the names: Alpo, Rich Porter, AZ. We seen the movies. We watched Paid in Full till the tape popped. We saw the flashy whips, the Gucci suits, and the betrayal. But check it. Behind every legend, there's a ghost. A man who didn't need the cameras. A man who didn't want the fame. While the rest of the world was looking at the jewels, the real power was moving in silence on 112th Street. Imagine a man so heavy in the game, he was moving 500 keys a month, but still living in a cramped apartment. A man who, when Rich Porter's little brother got snatched, didn't just offer words, he handed over 30 bricks of white gold for free to try and save a life. This ain't Hollywood. This is the raw, uncut truth of the Harlem Plug. This is Richard Fritz Simmons, the man the streets whispered about, but the feds couldn't catch. Hold up, family. Before we get back to how Fritz moved, we gotta talk about the knowledge you need in your stash. If you're watching this, you know the movies only give you half the truth. You want the real? You need to check out these two new Jones from the big homie Shine Drilly. First up, Wolf Code. Turn Alpo's street strategies into legit power and profits. Look, we all know how Alpo ended up, but you can't deny his hustle was a masterclass in domination. Shine Drilly breaks down the actual street tactics Alpo used to take over Harlem and shows you how to flip those same street principles, the networking, the leverage, the mindset, into legit legal money. It's about taking that wolf energy and building an empire that the feds can't touch. Then, for the brothers who think it's all rose gold and champagne, you need Big Karma. How Rich Porter's dark side cost Don Nail his life. This ain't that paid in full fairy tale. This is the raw, factual account of the shadows Rich Porter walked in. It explores the choices, the ego, and the dark side that ultimately led to the tragedy of his own brother. It's a reality check on what happens when the game swallows your soul. These ain't some motivational Johns written by cadets in suits who never seen a project hallway. These are the realest books written for the realest audience. Fact-based, hardcore, real as fuck. If you tired of the cap and you want the blueprint on how to win and the warning signs on how to stay alive, you need to download these joints on your phone now. People been calling Shine Drilly the voice of the concrete. The testimonials don't lie. These are the realest books produced strictly for the realest niggas. Now, back to the story of the man who supplied the legends. See, Fritz wasn't your average hustler. He didn't have a supreme team. He didn't have 100 soldiers on the corner. It was just him and his two brothers in arms, Ace and Chucky. While big names like Nicky Barnes were buying condos in Washington Heights and driving the baddest whips, Fritz was in a modest Nissan Maxima. If you pulled up to his block looking too flashy, he'd tell you to move that junk. He wasn't trying to attract the wolves or the wiretaps. He was the Consignment King. He had the plug with the cartel. He'd get 15 keys, and instead of building an army, he'd give them out on trust. Why? Because Fritz knew the streets better than the streets knew themselves. He was corporate with it. No noise, no ego, just business. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't just about the bag. Fritz was the heartbeat of 112th Street. He was the urban Robin Hood. The grandmothers, he paid their rent. The kids, he bought their back-to-school clothes and groceries. He stayed in that small apartment because that building was his fortress and everyone in it was family. But the game is cold, man. It's a contradiction. You're feeding the neighborhood with the same stuff that's tearing it apart. And when you're that big, the wolves start circling. A gang of vicious hitters tried to take him out. They couldn't get Fritz, so they took Chucky. The streets start bleeding, and even a ghost can't hide forever. In 1991, the run ended. Not with a shootout. Not with a federal indictment. They say Fritz was poisoned, gone at the top of his game. He left behind millions in cash, several kids, and a brownstone he never even lived in. Was he a hero, or was he a villain? Maybe he was just a man caught in the middle of a war, trying to keep his people afloat while the tide was pulling them under. The movies gave us the glitter. The streets gave us the truth. Rest easy to the Harlem Plug.